Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a review on the Haslab Ghost. It's not something I anticipated undertaking, but it's such a cool ship and I'm still so excited to have this in the collection. So I'm going to have a little bit of a discussion and we're going to do a little bit of an overview on this, going over the ship and its various details as well as the included figures. So I hope you enjoy, and without further ado, let's begin. So first of all, we're just going to have a brief look at the figures that I've got on display in front of the ship. I will do an in-depth section at the end of the video going over each of the 4 figures included with the Ghost. But I thought I'd show you all of these guys set up together, as this is of course the Ghost crew. Chopper and Sabine did not come included with the ship, unfortunately, but Hasbro did pledge if the Ghost reached its full backing with all the unlocked tiers, that they would release this 2-pack in time for the Ghost's arrival, which they did. This came out a few months ago now, and they came on the mural card backs and include almost everything that you see here in front of you, but we're not going to focus too much on those in this video. The Ghost also includes the other 4 members of the team. We've got Hera, Kanan, Ezra and Zeb. All of these in some way are exclusive to this vehicle. There have been individual releases of these characters in the Vintage Collection this year, but they've been from different seasons of the show or other properties, such as Hera being the Ahsoka version. So now we're going to dive into this great big ship, and I'm going to walk you through everything that it has to offer. Okay, so starting off with the Ghost. We're looking at the front of the ship here, as you can see, and as I've already said a few times, it's absolutely massive, but that does not detract from how amazing this is. I'm very fortunate for it to have just fitted into the collection where I wanted it to. But looking at the details on this side, you can see that it's got lots of nice weathering details on there. We've got some grime, dirt and some carbon scoring all along the actual panels of the vehicle. And then we've got those lovely greeblies, very reminiscent of the Millennium Falcon, and something that I believe Lucasfilm worked on to incorporate this ship into live action. This is of course a representation of the ship seen in Ahsoka, so it's not exactly in its animated form, but it's just as good. Now we've got the cockpit here, which you can house the rest of the Ghost crew in to pilot the ship. And then we've got the gunner seat, the front turret down here. Now this turret does move up and down and swivel left to right. Unfortunately the seat inside does not move in tandem with it. That would have been nice. But it's probably not a feature that many people will be exercising. So coming below that front turret for a moment, we are presented with the cargo area for the Ghost. Now in Rebels you would see lots of characters entering and exiting this area. Unfortunately it's not 1-to-1 scale with the figures, that is just an allowance that had to be made to get this ship released, I suppose. But the front hatch does still fold down, and it has got some nice details inside it. If I just pop my light on for a second, you'll be able to see the start of the ladder which leads up into the cockpit area. And then if we can get the camera to focus, you can see that there is a set of doors there, non-functioning, but it's still nice that that detail was included by Hasbro anyway. This can just close up and it does clip into place to secure it. We've got a little bit of landing gear as well for the ship. It's got 4 legs in total, and they just support the ship nicely. And then of course, those of you that are familiar with Star Wars Rebels will know that this area of the ship is where the Ghost crew would magnetically clamp storage crates to once they'd pick them up flying through space after battling Imperial cruisers. There is also some more detailing under here, just some inner workings of the ship and greeblies which have been given a nice wash, This is great to see, as obviously on the underside of the ship it's not always going to be on view, so it's good to see that Hasbro made that extra effort in adding detail. Taking a look at the side of the ship, you can see that we've got one of two main airlocks used on the Ghost. You see these in the series. This is where characters would traverse from ship to ship, and we'd also have some fighters docking here in between battles as well. It's detailed with lots of nice side panelling. Again, all weathered to give it that real lived-in universe feel. And that does continue all the way up the side of the ship there. And in the middle, we've got the centre turret, which can rotate all the way around. And the barrels of the turret can also move up and down, like so. This piece can then also be removed, so that you can fit a figure inside it. And there is a control on the side here, which allows you to adjust the height of the seat, so that if you want to put Zeb in there, with him being a taller character, you can do so, and still have him visible through the top window. That piece does actually remove. I'm just not going to do that now, as it can be quite fiddly. So approaching the rear of the ship, we've got some more of this nice greebling detail on the side, and then there's more nice paint applications. So where you've got all these coloured sections, they're appropriately weathered as well, just to give the ship a more lived-in feel. It's certainly been through the wars at this point, and Hasbro have done a great job of getting that across with paint detailing. There's some more carbon score in there, and more battle damage. And then coming to the back, we've got the docking bay for the Phantom 2. This ship does remove, and I'll show you that shortly. We've got a little bust of Chopper in there. Now this is removable as well, but there's nothing to actually plug into the same spot that Chopper's head pops out of, so it's a little bit of a redundant feature. It can also swivel side to side, but because those arms are pre-posed stretched out, you do risk damaging those if you want to turn his head. So it might have been nice if they were pre-posed in a more bent upwards orientation, as we see Chopper doing many of his funny poses in the show. It might have just added a little more playability to that certain part of the ship. But as you can see, it's got some very nice details on it as well, lots of weathering, and all of the nice painted insignias which Sabine has littered the ship with, as this was a separatist shuttle from the Clone Wars that the Ghost team bring back and put to good use. And at the rear of the ship, we've got the 4 great big engines that propel the Ghost through space. There's lots of nice weathering on these. Again, various washes and dry brushing have been used to really accentuate all the different details. There's a very nice green wash that's been used to show the overheated metal panels on the outside of the engine. And then there are some nice reflective yellow plastic pieces inside there to simulate activation of the engines. And then just underneath those we've got some more nice details, such as some copper piping, and there's lots more greeblies under there which have been highlighted with some lovely black washes. So as I mentioned, the Phantom 2 can be removed from the Ghost itself. All you have to do is pull it up and it should untab from below, like that. As you can see, it's just held in with 2 different clips, and we've got some detailing behind that as well. Again, Hasbro haven't skimped out on anything with this ship in my opinion. Even where you could get away with missing things, they've tried their best to include what they can. Unfortunately, the only downside of removing the Phantom is this really weird blue plastic that they've chosen to use. If they'd have chosen a nice grey plastic or black plastic, this would not be half as much of an eyesore as it is. But keeping the Phantom 2 in place will hide the majority of that. And if I just put the Phantom back in place, you'll see that the section is quite significantly longer and wider than this ship, which again is accurate to the show, but it does make me wonder if the Star Wars team have planned ahead at all and are thinking about releasing a Phantom 1 that is compatible with this. I'd very much like to see that. I think the Phantom 1 is also a cracking ship, and it'd be great to have that cross-compatibility, and also a nice display option should people prefer to display this from the first few seasons of Rebels. So I've taken the liberty of just loosening the panels on the top so I can easily demonstrate which ones remove and how to go about it the best way. So I take the centre one first and just lift that up. That pops out like so. And then we've got the cockpit area at the front, which should just lift up and then slide off the bottom, exposing the front gunner seat. And then the back panel with the Phantom. You can either take the Phantom off or leave it on. It works either way. And that also just lifts up and slides off to reveal the back section. So as you can see here, we've got the front cockpit area opened up. I've popped Hera in the back there just for scale. I won't be popping any of the figures in the seats in this video, as that can prove quite fiddly, and I don't want to stress the joints on those guys too much. But as you can see, all 4 seats are individually detailed, specific to the characters. So you've got Kanan and Hera up front. This one here is Sabine's. And then this one over here, it's a toss-up really, as you see both Ezra and Zeb sit in this one in the show. I guess it's Zeb's, since Ezra came along last. And then on the sides, you've got all this lovely panel detailing, very accurate to the Ahsoka series, and also Rebels. And there we've got that yellow ladder that leads down into the cargo area. And those details are also featured on the other side in different formats. And just below everything, we've got the gunner seat opened up, which also shares similar details on the wall. And it also has a few moving parts, so this seat will move forward and backwards to accommodate larger characters, as well as the foot pedals will also move up and down for the same reason. It swivels side to side, although doing that, as I've said, does not interact with the cannon on the bottom, unfortunately. But again, that is just something minor that I've picked up on. The seats in here will also swivel as well. There has been a noted issue from a few people that have received this, where the pilot seat has come rather bent to one side. I believe that's an issue that Hasbro customer service will hopefully be sorting out for some people, so that's just something to be aware of on your model of the ship. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen to you. So that's the main cockpit. Let's carry on moving through the ship now. So on the right hand side here we've got the first of the 2 bunks featured in the Ghost. This one is what's been dubbed Hera's bunk, although I do believe it's probably one of the less prominently featured ones in the show. Nevertheless, Hasbro chose to include this one, and it's very nicely detailed. We've got some curtains on the top bunk there, some door detailing on the cupboards at the bottom. There's a small set of ladders there to get up to the bed. And then on this side we've got some nice painted glyphs on the wall, as well as some button detailing and outlining. And we've got some similar details on the opposite wall, with what looks to be a little table and light set up as well. The top of the bunk area can also be removed, so you can easily place a figure in there for play or photography. Okay, so this is the second bunk on the Ghost now. This is Ezra and Zeb's room, and unfortunately, due to the size of the vehicle not being 100% accurate, we don't have all 4 living quarters on the Ghost, but it's great that they decided to include Ezra and Zeb's room, as that's the one most prominently featured in the series, in my opinion. We do get to see that one a lot. So you've got 2 spaces for your characters to sleep there, and then you've also got a little ladder as well, similar to the previous one that we looked at. Various details on those bunks, a few lights and panel lines. And then on the right side of the bunk here, we've got another few panels and what looks to be a little table section, all with some nice detailed paint apps. Now we're going to move on to the opposite wall, and that is unfortunately where I have one little bugbear with this. So the keen-eyed amongst you will have already noticed what's wrong with this wall of the room. If you remember back to the Season 1 episode of Rebels titled Fight or Flight, Chopper decides to play a crafty game on Zeb and Ezra to spark a little bit of a feud between them. He removes the pins on the bunk, so as Ezra gets on top of his, the bed area falls on top of Zeb, crushing him, and it ensues into a chase. Later in the episode, Sabine actually draws up a piece of artwork on the wall here, a little characterised cartoon drawing of that event, and then it can be seen throughout the rest of the series in certain shots. I'm a little bit disappointed that Hasbro didn't choose to include this on there, as it is a key feature for those characters in this space, and it's just a nice unique detail which I think really would have made a beneficial inclusion. Of course, when you've got the ship covered up for the majority of display, it doesn't really matter that much, but it would have just been a nice attention to detail on Hasbro's part, which unfortunately was not included. So this is the rear of the ship interior. Very much a Star Wars Rebels area, as we haven't seen this section of the ship in live action yet, but we've got the famous Dejarik table over on the far left hand side. We've got a little wooden chair up the corner there, which we see Hera sitting in during the series a few times, and then over to the right is more of the kitchen area where the Ghost crew would rest in between missions. There is also a small computer area there, similar to what we have seen on the Millennium Falcon over the years, and then amongst all of these accessories, the rocking chair in the corner, the two stools, and the picnic table are freestanding, so if you do pick the ship up they will move around, but the bonus of that is you can place those wherever you want to suit your display. I'll just pop Kanan in there to give you a sense of scale while we take a look at this area. Obviously around all of the described features there is more of that panel detailing and intricate paint app. Just moving those accessories out of the way now so you can see the detail on the floor. There is a little bit of dirt and grime. Again, it shows a very lived-in ship, which is accurate to Star Wars Rebels. This is more of a Rebels area, as it's not something we've seen in the Ahsoka series yet. But you might notice around the vents on the floor there is a definitive mould line. It's rather deceitful, as it does display the possibility that this panel could be lifted up and there could be some storage area underneath, but there's no such thing, unfortunately. It seems to just be part of the ship's construction. It would have been nice to have a little bit of storage for some accessories so that everything could be kept together, but alas, that's just a minor thing that I've noticed, and I thought I'd bring it to your attention just in case you were wondering. So I thought we'd finish up looking at the Ghost itself by checking out the Phantom. So I've just disconnected it from the Ghost itself. As you can see, it's got 4 pieces of landing gear underneath, which can be extended out like so, and also folded away for when you connect it to the ship. We've got that little head piece of Chopper there. Like I said, that can be rotated, but at risk at bending those arms. Lovely paint detail on this one. Various weathering and dry brushing around the midsection there to show metalwork, and then we've got all of Sabine's nice painted designs, including this logo on the side here. And then if I just flip the ship around, that is of course mirrored on the opposite side as well. There are also some thruster details on the back of the Phantom, as well as the main doors to the ship. Again, this is slightly underscaled, but it's nice that the detail is there all the same. So just looking at the front of the ship really quickly to finish off, you can see there's a couple of cannons there and some more of that nice greebling detail on the front. This canopy area does also lift up, which will allow you to fit one figure in there. Again, a little bit inaccurate to its representation in Ahsoka and Star Wars Rebels, but due to the scale, That's a constraint that's being made on this one, unfortunately. It still is a very nice little vehicle. It's great to see the Phantom 2 get some love, as we've never seen a vehicle of this before from Hasbro. And again, it'd be very cool to see a Phantom 1 released in the future, so I'll keep my fingers crossed on that one. So coming to the end of the video now, we're going to take a look at the individually carded figures that come with the Ghost as promised. As you can see, we've got a carded sample on the left and a loose sample on the right. There's no camera trickery involved. I basically just backed 2 Ghosts so that I could get 2 sets of figures. I just couldn't make my mind up whether I wanted to keep them carded or open them, so I made the easiest decision available to me at the time and just made sure that I had 2 sets. What that means is we're going to be able to take a look at the figures in the packaging and also out of the packaging at the same time. So we've got the figure inside there. This one is Hera, of course, with the accessories nicely displayed. And then, unique to these figures, we've got the mural artwork on the side of the box for each particular character. And then on the back, we've got the full mural displayed in the top left, looking very, very nice, with a brief description of the character, which you can read if you so wish. So I'm going to pop that away, and we'll just have a quick look at the loose figure now. I've just got it on a stand. I have all my vintage collection figures on these stands, which you can pick up on eBay, and just to stop them falling over and stop parts going missing. So what a fantastic little figure this is. It's really cool to see the character that we all know and love from Star Wars Rebels, but with a live action head sculpt. It's a very nice translation. Got lots of nice details. This is of course based on the season 3 and 4 outfit for Hera, when she steps up and takes more of a captain's role within the rebellion itself. Nice little features include an ankle holster where her pistol is stored. That can be removed, and she can hold on to that one if you so wish. As you can see, I've got a hold in what I think is the most character specific accessory, that being her Kalikori, which is the way that Twi'leks sort of collate their family history and display it. It's a very nice accessory, that one. Really glad it comes with that. And then of course the final accessory for Hera would be a favourite fruit, being the Meluron. This is featured in one of the earliest episodes of Rebels in Season 1, and then Ezra also leaves it behind for her before he disappears off to Peridia. And next we've got Ezra Bridger, again on that lovely mural card back. I've got one of each to show you here. As you can see, there's the figure displayed nicely in the bubble. Lots of packed in accessories there, although I'm sure if this was a mainline figure it would no doubt be a deluxe. But then we've got the mural art on the side, looks very, very nice. And then on the back again, we've got the mural displayed up in the left, with a brief character bio on the right. You can read that if you so wish. And then taking a look at the figure itself, once again I've got it on a little stand, just for simplicity. Lots of nice details there. This body mould is the same as the one that was released in the Ahsoka line earlier in the year, although the details and a few parts make it unique to the Ghost. And that is the big collar piece there, the yellow details on the body and the wrist, and then of course the accessories. He's got his blaster in his holster, and then he's got his signature lightsaber as well. You do also get the unlit version of the lightsaber, which you can attach to the side of the figure there. And then a really great accessory is the painted Scout Trooper helmet that we see in the later seasons of Rebels as well. That can actually be slotted onto his head if you so wish. Just pops open like Scout Trooper helmets traditionally do, and you can display Ezra with his helmet on. And then something else which is very nice You get the White Lothcat, which is very key to Ezra's story arc in Season 4 of Rebels. Okay, so next up we've got Kanan Jarrus. This one is my personal favourite from the bunch, as it's a very unique figure, a version of the character that we haven't seen in any line so far. So we've got that lovely mural card art once again. We've got the figure displayed in the bubble along with his accessories. And then on the reverse side, we've got the full mural. And then we've got the character bio, which you can have a read of if you would like. So taking a look at the loose figure. Looks very nice. I've just got him in a simple pose, this one. The detail on the eyes has been corrected from the prototype version seen during the backing campaign. The scarring was not as noticeable on that one as it is on the final product. And I had a little hand in getting that corrected thanks to the power of social media. And then taking a look at the accessories. Picking him back up again, he has his blaster in his holster, and he's got a unlit lightsaber hilt also on the other side. You get his lit lightsaber as well, looking very nice. And then you get the mask that Kanan uses in Season 3 and 4, which has got the J guys painted on there. You can pop this on the figure. It's a nice simple fit. And then that completes the look very nicely. And then you also get an alternate head for this character from when he has a little haircut before he goes off to rescue Hera from the Imperial base in Season 4. A very sad episode. Definitely pulls at your heartstrings, that one, so if you want to recreate that on your shelf, you most certainly can. And then the fourth and final figure is everyone's favourite Lasat. We've got Garazeb Orios, or just Zeb to his friends. As you can see once again, we've got the carded version over on the left. This one's quite a chunky one, but they've still managed to pack him onto a card without it being deluxe, with all the accessories in the back, so that's nice to see. And I'm sure there's an argument to be made there for some people who would rather see things like this in the main line. But we've got that lovely artwork on the side once again. All these cards are unpunched, which I failed to mention to begin with, but that is a continuing trend with Haslab items that don't go to consumers. We've then got the figure itself, looking very nice. Now, this did get released in the Vintage Collection last year, however it was based on his Season 1 and 2 appearances, so we've got a little less armour on this guy, showing a little more fur, and we've got a unique head sculpt. He's looking very happy and determined. He's got a lovely little painting there of Big Bongo, the duper that nearly eats him. He comes with his bow rifle in the blaster configuration as an accessory. That can be pegged onto his back if you like. And then you also get the staff orientation, which has 2 electrical effect pieces that slide onto either end. So that just about wraps up my review on the Ghost. I hope it was thorough enough for you, and there was enough details there, and maybe you learnt something, maybe you didn't. Let me know down in the comments below. Until next time, please check out my recent collection video. If you want to take a look at everything else on display in this room, please like, share and subscribe. Head over to Instagram and follow me there. I'm under the same handle, and you can see all my latest pickups on that page. Until next time, may the Force be with you, always.